we are going to talk about Atlas Reasoning Engine. Along with that, we will cover custom topics. But our main intention is to talk about Atlas Reasoning Engine, and I have various points to discuss around it. But I don't want to jump straight away to the theoretical part because it will not make much of the sense. I'll just go ahead and show you how Agentforce platform is working and how Atlas Reasoning Engine, which is called as the brain of Agentforce, is basically supporting it, okay, in achieving what we as a human want. So let's see it in practical. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom object. So this is the custom object called complaint, which I am going to create, okay, and the complaint name is a auto number. So let me save this. The object is ready. Now I'm going to create some fields. Now this is the field setup I have. I have added one description field where you can add in detail what complaint you have, and then there is a pin code and the status and the subject. Okay, so one record which I am going to create is the complaint record. Here you can see that the status is pending, and I'm just adding some description in the subject and the pin code for which area I have the complaint. So I have complaint for this area. The subject of the complaint is roads with potholes, and have some description over here. Okay, now I'll save this and I'll get my first complaint record saved into the database. Now I'll go here to the agent. Okay, let me see if the agent is active or not. Before I go there, okay, agent is active, I can see. So one thing I want to show you that these fields I have set up status, subject, pin code. So if you open any of the field, you will see that there are some other attributes which got added, like data sensitivity level and compliance categorization, right? So these two are the new or extra layer which is now added on the field custom metadata, which we need to define, and how and when do we need to define it, that I will discuss when we will like later. I'll talk about it because it talks about how sensitive this field is and is it good enough to send across the systems. If no, then we have to make it confidential, restricted, or mission critical so that necessary data masking is done. So we will talk all about this when we will go in the trust layer, the Einstein trust layer in detail. That is when we will discuss about it. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that these are the new attributes you might see when you create a new fields. So I have these 4 fields set up and I have one record already created. I'm going to the agent and I'll ask the agent, hi, do you know how many complaints in the system? Okay, so I'm asking directly that, can you fetch the complaints record in the system? Let us see how it behaves. So it get to know that there is currently one complaint in the system, which is absolutely right. Now, my next thing or next question is, can you help creating a complaint record? So next thing I want this is to create the new complaint record. So it says that it seems I can't directly create a complaint record. However, I can help you with the necessary information or guide you through the process. Please provide the details for the new complaint record. So I said, what details are required? Okay, we are just making some interaction. So finally it breaks here and says that it looks like something went wrong and we are trying to retrieve the information. So it is not able to answer it. Okay. Now you see here that when I am talking to the agent, I get a feel as if I am talking to a human right there. Someone is sitting just behind it and he or she is chatting with me. Now, how I am getting this field? Now, how am I getting this feel? This feel is I am getting this feel because there is someone who can interpret the data I am adding on this chat. Okay, when I say that, do you know how many complaints in the system? There is someone over there at the Agentforce who can interpret what statement I have passed and can add their logical reasoning on top of it and then take a decision that what it needs to perform, and it understand that they need to do a query in the database, and based on that they have to send a reply. Okay, now who is handling all this? This is all handled by Atlas Reasoning Engine, which is called as the brain of the Agentforce. This is a very simple example over here. Okay, now When I ask this to create a record for a complaint, it says that it can try to guide me, but ultimately it failed and it could not help me. So it says that it looks like something went wrong. So it could not help because it is not having the skill to create a record for the complaint object. We can provide that skill with the help of custom topics and custom action. We will do it in a while, but let's talk about this. So, as I told you, whatever data I am sending across, all that data is interpreted by Agentforce brain, which is Atlas reasoning engine, and do some logical reasoning over that and then take the decision. Let's look at the another example. So, next, what I'm going to do is I'll just close this conversation right here. Now, I'll open this builder. So this is the existing agent which comes by default. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new topic over here. And before I modify, I first have to deactivate and then I can add a new topic. So what I want to do is, so it says that what do you want this topic to do? It is an optional. I am going to use this feature and we will see how Atlas reasoning engine will read my data which I'm going to enter here. So let me fill up the details over here. So now here I have entered some details about the skill, the new skill or the new topic which I want to assign to my agent. So I say that you are only responsible to create a complaint record when user asks for it. Okay. And then I say that every time you create a complaint record, the status should be set as pending and the user has to provide the subject and description of the complaint. Then I say feel free to modify the language of the subject or description to make it professional. Next, I say that the important point is PIN code is a required field as it tells about the area for which the complaint is registered. So make sure we have PIN code before we log a complaint. So I have some statements. Now I want someone on the Agentforce side to understand these statements. Okay, so when I click on next, Agentforce Atlas Reasoning Engine helps me with the details I should have for creating a topic like classification, description, scope, and all. It has auto-filled all these details. Okay, so the classification description. Now, this is the one which decides whether your topic is or whether your agent has the skill or not. So it says it handles the creation of complaint record upon user request, ensure necessary details such as PIN code, subject, and description are provided. Okay, so this is important, right? Now, how this statement has come here because of the Atlas reasoning engine, it has understood my requirement and did some logical reasoning on top of it and make a decision what needs to be added on the classification description, what needs to go as the scope. So the scope says that your job is only to create a complaint record when the user asks for it, set the status to pending and ensure the user provides the subject description and pin code. Then there are some instructions. Now, what are instructions and what are scopes? So these are basically the guardrails, right? So here is another point which I have highlighted, that there are necessary guardrails in place. So when agents, since agents are very powerful, they should have necessary guardrails. And these are the guardrails, the instructions, the scope. We are setting some guardrails. So here I say if the user requests to log a complaint, ensure the status is set to pending. Ask the user to provide the subject and description. Modify the language of the subject or description to make it professional. Ensure the user provides the PIN code before logging the complaint. So every time these instructions must run when the topic is selected. Okay, we will see that happening. And then you have scope as well, which is again a guardrail. So Atlas reasoning engine is good enough to set its own boundaries. If you want, you can modify these boundaries, where it gives the platform gives you the option to modify or to set the boundaries. Okay, which is really good. And then it will respect the sharing rule. Let's say the person who is talking to the agent do not have access to create the complaint record, that field level permissions are missing, object level permissions are missing, then agent will not work. You can also read data from the data library. As I said that this engine is good enough to read the data. So it could read the data which I entered in the statements, but at the same time, it can read the data which sits in the data library. It can read the data which sits in the system. So it has option to reach out to a huge amount of structured, unstructured data, which can help the agent to understand what user wants. Okay. And when it has the access to the data, the logical reasoning becomes more effective, because when you have the data, you can understand the things in a better way, which will finally help in the decision making as well. Okay. And it can revise its own answer. So over the time, it train itself, it learn itself. Okay. So the self learning is already in place, and whatever it is giving as an answer to you, it is first checking or doubting itself. Am I giving the right answer? Is there a possibility to find an answer better than this? So it is looping it around, which is making it really beautiful. So whenever you talk to the agent or you build your agents, every time, anytime you are on the Agentforce platform, Atlas Reasoning Engine is in use. Without Atlas Reasoning Engine, you won't be able to work on your agents. And that's what make your experience better, as what we are seeing as right now. You can modify these details. Okay, you can add more instructions, but Atlas Reasoning Engine itself has done a good job to add the instructions, scope, and classification description for my new topic. And it has also given the label for it, which is complaint management. So I go and click on next, and then it asks me, do you want to add any action item to it? Right now, I do not have any action item. I'll create one action item and then I will add it. So we will do it. But for now, I'm good. And I click on finish. So I can see that this is the topic here. And now further, I can add the action item, right? So here you can see, although I do not have the action, but if I say, hey, I want to register a complaint. Okay. Now in the middle of the screen, you can see that this is my prompt. And then what Atlas Reasoning Engine does is it goes through all the topics which are assigned to this agent, and it get to know that this is the most suitable topic based on the classification description it has. So based on this, it is the most suitable topic. So it get and look into the instructions, and it's the instruction says ask the user to provide the subject, description, pin code. Okay, so these are the guardrails we have set up. So again, it is asking, sure, I can help with that. Could you please provide the subject description? Also, don't forget to include your pin code. Let's say I add all the details. 1110001 is the pin code. Okay, so this is the pin code, and then it will ask me subject in the description. So let's say the subject of, so here you can see some recommendations are coming, right? This is also coming from Atlas Reasoning Engine. So everything which you see here at the back of the Agentforce, it's Atlas Reasoning Engine which is making your experience smoother. Okay, so let's say I say the description of my complaint is that I am charged twice. Okay, and then it says that please provide the subject of your complaint. So I say that, okay, subject of my complaint is incorrect billing. So now I have all these details. Now finally, it has subject, it has description, and we are expecting it to create the complaint record, but it could not do it. It says that there is an issue because we have not assigned the action as of now. So once we have the action assigned, it would be able to create the complaint record. So next part is to define the action, the custom action for this. And we will do that in the next lecture. But I hope you have understood the purpose, the use, and the beauty of Atlas Reasoning Engine, how Agentforce is always backed up by the brain, the Atlas Reasoning Engine. Okay.